Hi everyone, it's Viktor speaking, and we are here with Tsveti to talk about the new moon, which is going to take place on the 11th of February. How are you, Tsveti?
Oh, I'm doing fine. This Aquarian energy, I feel it so nicely. I don't have any air in my chart, so it fills up my empty spaces. It's wonderful.
I love Aquarian energy because I'm always full of ideas, even though all these planets are playing out in my 12th house. But I don't mind a little bit of a self reflection, a little bit of a retreat, charging up the batteries, and then thinking about ideas. So I'm quite all right with that. So, as we said, we're going to be talking about the new moon, which is occurring on the 11th of February. So, firstly, what is a new moon? A new moon occurs when the transiting sun and the moon are in the exact position in the sky. And new moons are really much about setting intentions, new beginnings. Usually, it has got a childlike energy, very high motivational energies around us. So we can become quite enthusiastic. Uh, I usually do some rituals around new moons. So a little bit of an altar, a little bit of a candle magic, and then I write down my intentions and most probably, you will see the new moon always playing out within either 9 months or 18 months. The 9 month period is when the sun and the moon are going to be squaring each other. They're going to be on the exact position, like at the new moon, at least one of them. And full moon is when they're going to be opposing each other, and one of them is also going to be on the exact position where the new moon happened. So the full moon is going to be the culmination point of your intentions, what you started 18 months before. So, Sweti, how do you feel about this new moon? Is it intense or how what shall we expect?
What a new moon, I would say. Actually, I think this will be the most important new moon during this year because its point in Aquarius, it's happening on the 23rd degree of Aquarius, and it's going to be triggered like so many times until 2023. So whatever theme comes now, whatever we start doing now, it will be supported by Jupiter 3 times because it will go through the 23rd degree, it will go back, then it will show us some result beneficial events probably which will support our intention, and also it will be triggered by Saturn 3 times again. And I believe that Saturn will give us the discipline, will help us somehow implement what we missed, so that we can bring this intention to full fruition and to perfection as well. But it will take time. And yeah, that's why, it's a huge stellium in Aquarius anyway. So the Aquarian energy will be really felt. It's great that we will be having good ideas, as you mentioned, because this is an air element where, it rules communication, it rules our mind, our thoughts. So we will definitely be having new ideas, totally out of the box, probably, which will be also very much focused on the whole, not only on our individual self, but will be really fruitful to humanity even. So yeah, and of course there are so many things to mention about this new moon. I don't know where to start from. We have a great conjunction of Venus and Jupiter, which is very beneficial at the same time of the new moon. And at the same time, we have a square to the Tauran energy, where we have Uranus, Mars, and Lilith. And also, we have a beautiful bisextile between Neptune, Pluto, and Mars, which is also very helpful. And one more thing, which is really, when I opened the chart for the first time, this is something that drew my attention, and it was that we have practically two singletons. We have Neptune, the only planet in a water sign,
Yeah.
And actually one singleton, and Pluto is the only planet in cardinal sign, which means that we will be, and these two are in a good aspect, so they are singletons, but they will be supporting the new moon energy, which means the water energy of Neptune through compassion, through healing, something, new ideas about this, and Pluto, deep healing again, thinking deep, seeing back the motivation, like, and digging deep so that we can heal in a way. And Mars supporting this bisextile actually, so we will be able to take the correct actions, so that, yeah, we support our intentions. And one more thing, we don't have any planets in fire signs, which means I think this can be a bit of a, well, not really danger, but we need to be really careful with this, because when we have no planets in fire signs and so many planets in Aquarius, this is the sign of whole humanity, which somehow suppresses the individual energy and how we are as individuals, how we, so there is this danger somehow to really get lost in the whole, to really not be able to assert yourself, to lose a bit your identity and to merge with the whole. So we really need to be careful when we set the intentions for the new moon, that we don't lose ourselves. We think about the whole, we want to do something for the collective good, but also we are individuals, and how can we individually actually bring to fruition something that will be useful for everyone.
Absolutely. And whenever there is a new moon happening, the moon gets purified by the sun. Obviously, the sun's rays are so strong that it purifies whatever it touches. So that's the whole idea about the new moon, that we start a new cycle in the next 18 months. And we haven't had these energies since 1962 February. That's the last time when we had six planets in the sign of Aquarius, and including Saturn and Jupiter as well. So, if I'm not mistaken, at the time we had the nodes also there. And if you want to look up what was going on in 1962, in around that period, then it's worth going back, because that's one of the reasons why I always say that astrology is all about spotting patterns. So it's a very Mercurian field. And this time around, of course, we've got Mercury as well there, which is retrograde. But if we really start thinking about what Aquarius is, it's all about innovation. It's all about expressing your authenticity, your true individual. It's very futuristic. It's all about innovative mind, coming up with new ideas, basically becoming a genius, if you like it. But also Aquarius is the sign of movements and the social circle. So this new moon, I think it's very much about um, um, working towards to become independent, to do things in new ways, discovering new opportunities, thinking outside the box as well. So wanting to make changes. And I would also mention that this new moon is very Uranian and Saturnian, and not just because of the rulership. But what's interesting is that where the new moon takes place, actually, it's going to be having a contra on this year, Uranus, exactly around the 9-10 degrees of Taurus. Contra TCA acts like a opposition. So imagine that basically the new moon is being opposed by Uranus. So Uranus is the planet of freedom. The new moon is setting your intentions and starting something fresh. And Uranus in Taurus wants to break down the barriers, wants to get you out of your comfort zone. But opposition always talks about differences and some type of resilience. So there is some confronting energy going on. And at the same time, this new moon is exactly square in an asteroid called Aries. Aries at the moment is on 23 degree 32 minutes. And Aries is the feminine warrior. It's very much like the asteroid of discord. It was actually discovered sometimes in 2003. At first, it was a planet, then it got demoted into a asteroid. So she is like a warrior princess, a female warrior, a little bit of a volatile energy. It's like a little bit of a whisperer that saying to you that, hold on, we need to be taking our independence back. We need to fight for our continuous existence. But also it talks about some of the natural changings as well. So it could indicate pretty much some very cold weather on the way. And she is the sister of Mars as well. So her side is quite a harsh one. There is a struggle for survival. And this struggle is kind of very fundamental of our human conditions, especially nowadays. So even though there are good aspects in this new moon, I do see still some at least inner frustration within people.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, for instance, today we've got Pallas Athene, which is conjunct in the sun as well. And that's happening on the 9th of February. So another very strong female principle, which is coming around, and that also is a warrior princess. She was basically the daughter of Zeus, Jupiter in Roman mythology, and basically she was predicted to be a lot cleverer or more intelligent than Zeus himself. So therefore he swallowed her, and then with her mom as well. And then the mom created an armor for her in Zeus' belly. And then eventually Hephaestus came around, smacked his head with a hammer, and that's how basically Pallas Athene was born. So she is the planet of, or asteroid of wisdom, creative intelligence, something to do with feminine movements, something to do with, anyway, I'm going to make a video on Pallas Athene because I love her invocational astrology. It always talks about where you can have a breakthrough, where you can be genius, what ways you can bring creative intelligence into your work field. So that's a very powerful asteroid, especially in vocational readings. Yes.
Yes. It's great that you mentioned this feminine energy because I was thinking about Venus and Uranus being in a square indeed, and because these are father and daughter as well. So I was thinking that Venus wanting to communicate something to Uranus, but Uranus not really being there to understand, and some conflict arises. But Venus will move on, and it will meet actually Uranus in April. So I believe that this theme will be solved, and they will finally reunite in April. So whatever creates frustration now in terms of feminine energy, what we really want, how we want to achieve it, we want freedom, independence, and so on, this will actually have a real solution probably somewhere in April when these two planets reunite. And and I also wanted to mention about the square of Uranus and Saturn, and because you said that the sun is also, of course, it's a new moon, the sun is also in Aquarius, and it represents our free will. So how we can probably use our free will with this whole stellium, especially considering that the two, Uranus, which is a collective planet, and Saturn, which is a social planet, are squaring. So maybe there will be something imposed on us as humanity, as society. Any system without a center can somehow be something can be imposed on us. But our free will, we can implement actually to decide how we would like to react to this and
Yeah.
what we are going to do with this. And really, Aquarius energy, maybe we should focus and think on what will be good for everyone, not for me personally. If I do this, somehow to realize the impact of our individual reaction on the whole society, because it's going to be like an avalanche. It's a huge energy.
I'm
Uranus and so many planets in Aquarius.
I'm
So,
happy that you mentioned actually the free will, because if someone doesn't know, but the free will signs are the air signs and fire signs. So the more air and fire you've got in your chart, basically your fate is in your own hands. The more water and earth signs you've got, those are more destined, or at least we feel that our lives are more destined. So that's a little bit of a harder to keep control, and somehow others want to control our lives. So as Tsveti mentioned, now we've got half of the planets in the sign of Aquarius. It is really our choice how we go about it. It is really your choice how to set your intentions. Is it going to be a positive one, or is it going to be, oh, I'm just going to go with the flow? Because this is not the time when you should be going with the flow. This is when you can actually grab the whip and then, get the most out of any type of situations. So when you have got a dominant air sign, that is all about learning, studying, gathering information, working through the data, and actually doing a little bit of an analytical type of approach to life. And, maybe what does the market want? What do we need now? And come up with some ideas, and then get ahead, move ahead, and, you can bring the best out of your intentions. But we've got so many good things happening as well at the same time. We've got Jupiter and Venus conjunction. So how do you see that? That is definitely taking the edge away from all the other tensions.
yeah, I think that this is a very supportive aspect that we have in the new moon, because Jupiter actually is our positive side. It represents our belief system, it represents our morals, and it represents, in a way, our need to communicate our belief systems to others. And to share our philosophy with the world. And when it's together with Venus, which rules among others, of course, but also love, appreciation, feeling good, the good side of life. So when these two are together, we are maybe a little bit, we might have a positive outlook on life. And despite the square between Uranus and Mars together with all the Aquarian planets, we might keep our, how do I say, positive outlook on things. We will still have hope that things will get better, which is a good thing, because we will set a positive intention, as you mentioned before, and we will have these conditions to feel so. So it's really important, our free will, and as you mentioned, the Aquarian sign is all about independence and all about our own choice. So it's really important to be mindful on what we really choose to focus, because Aquarius is also fixed energy, and it's important to, whatever we focus on, then it's going to be difficult to move on from what we focus. So really, that's what Aquarius is, I think. But yeah, it's really, and considering that the square is something which is restricting us and could make us like nervous and unwilling to change, this Venus-Jupiter conjunction will actually be there to focus our attention on the positive and on the good side of life, on finding new ways to communicate with friends, to be social, because of this pandemic situation where most of us are locked within the walls of our home. So finding new ways to feel good in the new world, in the new conditions, and also maybe accepting that what was before might never come, but be okay with this. Like accepting this new idea and be okay with it, feel good about it, and find the actually the potential within this, rather than focusing on the negatives that come with this. Because any change causes frustration within us, like a square would be between Saturn and Uranus coming on the 16th, to be exact. So it can create tension, but still having the support of these two benefics, these are the two benefics together. So we will be supported. We will not feel alone. We will not feel left outside in the cold. So yeah, I
Just a
think it's quite a
practical
positive
tip.
thing.
Just a practical tip. Go and play the lottery.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, Venus is the planet of money. Jupiter is the abundance. So this could really talk about some great financial ideas at least, or you're going to be able to see the future possibilities, envisioning the future, or at least a view how to move forward. And it's going to be happening on 12 degrees of Aquarius, which is going to be conjunct in my sun. So on the 11th, I'm surely going to
Go
play the
with.
lottery, because this is about the divine timing as well, being at the right place at the right time. And probably I would recommend be with people you want to be with, or at least if you can't, then have some fun. Venus is the
Mm.
planet of joy and pleasure. So, or if you want to be promoting or launching something, a business idea, or you want to be advertising an informational channel or something like that, because this is a very inspiring and uplifting energy, then
Yes.
this is probably the best day to do that. Um, Also, if you are single, brilliant day to fall in love or finding your perfect match. Um, but also, you might be seeing a little bit of an uplifting with your investments as well. So I can imagine that the 11th is a good day for something like stock market, cryptocurrency, and so forth. Um, yeah, so it's very, very exciting. At the same time, we also have got Mercury retrograde square in our Mars. So how do you feel about that?
Um, First, I think that the Mercury retrograde should be something to be thankful for with so many planets in Aquarius, because it will slow us down a bit. Otherwise, we would have been like going crazy with so many thoughts, and So the Mercury retrograde, I think this is something good within this whole stellium. Because it's giving us a second chance, as you would say about retrograde planets, and I absolutely agree. It's a second chance to reconsider our ideas, our intentions, and our attitude towards something on the mind plane. And when it's squaring Mars, it can be like it can give us a sharp tongue, so we should be a bit careful what we say, whom we hurt, and also be mindful, because as I already mentioned a few times, the Aquarian energy is a social energy. It's the energy of the mass, of the whole. So be mindful that when we hurt someone else, we also hurt ourselves, and words come back to us, especially because Mercury is retrograde. So um, this losing patience, this impatience that is stirring up within us, maybe just try to be more conscious about what we say to others, how we communicate, our communication style, because we might regret it later. And also considering that the moon, before the new moon happens on the 23rd degree, the new moon will actually go through all the planets in Aquarius before conjuncting the sun. So even if it's in Aquarius, it will make us quite emotional. So it's really important to find some creative outlet for really putting this energy into something useful. Writing, speaking, communicating with people that you love to be with, as you mentioned, and like avoiding a bit, if possible, of course, the people whom there is tension with, because at a later point it might be something that we regret, the way we communicated and spoke to them. with this Mars square.
Absolutely, absolutely. We might need to be having a couple of tough conversations.
Yes.
You might want to be walking away from a situation and you want to be saying your last bits. You might want to be speaking out, speaking your mind, speaking the truth, but you might be regretting that later on. Of course, Mercury is retrograde. And as Tsveti said, I love that this is like a sharp tongue. It has got like a cutting edge to it.
Oh,
So it could really give you a rushed thinking as well. Usually when Mars and Mercury meet, our way of thinking, the thought process is extremely strong, and we can be a little bit short-tempered and aggressive as well. And we can be saying the wrong things as well. So the key to this aspect is to listen carefully, to look at things from a different perspective. You can be easily irritable and sensitive. So don't take it personally if someone, for instance, criticizes you. You might not be able to concentrate as much as you want because your mind is extremely active. And especially with the Aquarian energy, you can be very scattered. So maybe these couple of days are not necessarily the best one to, I don't know, doing your tax return, for instance, or something like that, which needs a little bit of a precision. The mind is extremely stimulated here, a little bit provoked as well. So yeah, you can say things loudly which you don't even want to say anymore. So definitely a little bit of a tense energy there. But also then just a couple of days after the new moon, we're going to have Mercury retrograde conjunct in Venus also. That's not too bad either. Mercury and Venus get along quite nicely. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned it because I was meaning to say that the moon will also, in a few days after the moon will move on and will get into Pisces and will conjunct Neptune. So this influence of the sharp tongue that we used probably could be solved through empathy, and just like the Mercury together with Venus, it will give us a good heart, and it can mean some kind of a reconciliation of a situation, going out of some vicious cycle in terms of communication with someone you like, you love. And yeah, it's like a second chance, as we mentioned before about the Mercury retrograde. And being together with Venus, it can mean like having a second chance to talk to someone you love. Mercury is communication and Venus is someone we like, and becoming more likable in their eyes in a way. So yeah, and together with the moon conjuncting Neptune, it could be in quite a compassionate way. Even if you don't meet the person and you don't discuss anything, you might come to really get into their point of view and understand why that happened. And this in itself, this realization in itself will already somehow release the tension.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we had an argument maybe around the 9th, 10th of February. 12th, 13th of February is all about making things up, right?
Yeah.
And Mercury rules anything which is handmade. Venus is all about chocolate, sweets, cakes.
Oh yeah.
So it's a brilliant day to make a cake for your loved ones. Valentine's Day is coming up the following day anyway. So you can be spending some time in the kitchen to create something for your loved ones. And also, um, Mercury and Venus conjunction very much talks about sweet words. So we might want to be, being nice to someone. Yeah, and also just talking to friends, right? Again, the pleasure and the friends planet are coming together. Or maybe this is the day when you should be feeling a little bit youngish, or you should be reading a book, doing something which you enjoy doing. Probably the key word to this aspect is indulge yourself.
Oh
Very
yeah.
simple. And also, a very last aspect of the new moon or the new moon's week is the Mars Neptune sextile. How do
Yeah.
you see that?
Mars and Neptune in a sextile. First of all, sextile energy is a very nice energy. It's a harmonious aspect, and it requires us to put some effort into making it a trine, so to say, into making it perfectly harmonious. So Mars and Neptune together will really make our actions more compassionate, more empathetic, and it might also give us this soothing energy of a kind of a meditative state when we decide to do something, because Neptune is all about this. And also, I think meditation can be a great release for any tension that might come. That's actually the bisextile that I mentioned at the very beginning. It's together with Pluto indeed. Pluto is on the apex. So digging deep through meditation and finding your inner motivation, why you are frustrated, why you feel bad about something, or what would be the best solution of a problem that has been haunting you, like Pluto is haunting us forever. And I think it's a good time to set intention to solve something that was a really great problem for you, you know, because there will be this supportive energy and you will be able to dig deep and through your actions, yeah, I think it's a great time
Neptune
to
is
do so.
very creative. Mars
Yes,
is extremely passionate. Now, Mars being in the sign of Taurus, which is the tangible form. So, this is a brilliant time to actually give a form to your vision,
yes,
along with your will and drive to make it happen. So, this is a brilliant week actually to, as I said, to set your intentions, get it going, because you can really manifest something out of it in the next, I guess, 9 months rather than 18th. Some people, the more fixed sign you've got in your chart, in your natal chart, probably takes a little bit longer because those people are a little bit slower to react to new things. But as I said, we've got now 7 bodies in the sign of Aquarius. So the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, as well as Pallas Athene. And I think this new moon conjunct in Pallas Athene is very much about, problem solving skills. And of course, it is embodied with the brilliance of the Aquarian energy. So this is a high frequency level of energy, and how I feel about it is that whatever your goal is, yes, it might take a little bit of a time to manifest it because Mars in Taurus is a little bit slow. uh, but Pallas Athene is saying that you need a clear strategy to it. So get a piece of paper, write your intentions down. Don't take it too far. Be realistic about it, and maybe it's more like a step-by-step goal plan, what you want to be achieving. And this is exactly what Mercury retrograde is talking about as well. Don't rush your mind. Revisit some of your old ideas. Have you done the necessary steps before you want to take the further one? So maybe you want to be seeking out for some agreements or conversations with others about revising your ideas. Maybe someone else can give you a little bit of advice. Aquarius, at the end of the day, talks about friends,
yes,
right? So I think this sextile between Mars and Neptune is very helpful in a sense that Mars wants to encourage Neptune, which is your creative power. So, and that's the planet of dreams. So actually, we can give shapes and forms to those dreams.
yes,
Dreams are
and we
not
can
working
even
anymore. It's all about action.
yes, we can even make a visionary board because it's the Chinese New Year as well. So we tend to be doing this on the 1st of January, you know, take a few magazines, cut out the pictures that you really resonate with and that correspond to your dreams, because Mars also rules scissors and sharp objects. So you can be cutting these out of somewhere and put them on your visionary board. So you just remind yourself constantly about your intentions. And of course, any intention that we have, it will take effort to achieve. But if we have a good reminder that resonates with our heart, our mind, and our soul, and you know, on every level, and we see it every day, then I think it's a good thing to do as well now.
Absolutely. And the very last comment I want to make is 14th of February is actually quite beautiful. We've got Venus and Juno in sextile to each other. So make sure, people, that you're going to be spending the Valentine's Day with a little bit more effort this time around, because that Venus Juno energy can really give the boost to the relationship, and it can kind of restart a new phase in your partnership. So I think it's extremely good, and probably because Mercury is going to be conjoining in Jupiter as well, at the same time linked to Venus also. It's a very good day to speak about how much you appreciate the effort of your partner, even though you might not feel it, but this is somehow motivating your partner to actually please you and doing better things for you. So I think these aspects actually can bring a deepened commitment in your relationship.
Yes, exactly. And even if we don't feel it, when we communicate it, we might come to realize how many, positive traits our partner has, and it will be beneficial to us as well. So, yeah, maybe make a list to see what you like about your partner and communicate it in a beautiful way through some, beautiful card, or write it in an email or a message like Aquarius would suggest, anything
Yeah.
through the internet, or maybe surprise them through, so many different ways to do so. And Venus and together, it's like lots of marriage proposals will be coming, I assume.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, who knows?
absolutely.
Yes.
Great. Wow. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching us. If you want to join me on my next upcoming webinar on Antistia and Contra Antistia, then I will put the link below, and I'm happy to lead you towards getting to know your subconscious fears, and we're going to be learning about timing techniques as well, how to use them with transits or progressions. And thank you, Tsveti, for coming along today.
Thank you.
I think we've got a brilliant week ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Take care of yourself.
Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.